let me give a warning to you. Nobody can run and hide on this one. These folks are coming for you. The day of taking a few nice conservative votes and hiding is over. There's a time and season for everything. And right now, it's a season of war against a GOP establishment. The Time magazine's coming out with its new edition this week, and it just posted on its website, its lead story. Senate Republicans finally got something done. They should thank Steve Bannon.
That was Steve Bannon enjoying himself.
Thanking himself.
Doubling down the open warfare that he recently launched against Republican incumbents in Congress. He's targeting senators who he views as close allies of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.
Let's be let's take note of what's happened here.
They're coming for you.
Mark Halperin, he's declaring war against the Republican establishment, which is fine. I started doing that back in 1994 when he was...
Was he at Goldman?
I don't know if he was at Goldman Sachs or whether he was a Hollywood boy or not. But I've been declaring war against the Republican establishment since 1994 and have the scars to show it. But he's doing this now. But let's talk about the war he's declaring. He's speaking in California. And you actually have people from the audience, according to the LA Times, shouting, "Hang John McCain." The crowd's booing George W. Bush. I've been very critical of George W. Bush's policies through the year, but certainly, who the hell would ever boo George W. Bush in a Republican crowd? This is a party that's coming apart. It seems Steve Bannon wants to destroy this party. Meek and I have said for 2 years, we have said ad nauseum. That camera right there.
Right here.
Right here, the one right in the center there. Yeah.
Right in the center.
Said for 2 years, Donald Trump is not a Republican. Donald Trump has never been a Republican. I tried to warn Republicans in the primary. I said, Donald Trump is not a conservative. He has never been a conservative. He will never be a conservative. Right? He's not a Republican. Steve Bannon is not a Republican. They want to destroy the Republican Party. They want to do exactly what they're doing right now. They want to get you Republicans fighting against each other and tearing each other apart. They believe that a cult of personality will lure you to a position where you even call for the hanging of war heroes that have given their entire life to this country, or to former presidents who did their best, who gave their all to their country and to their party.
Who love their country.
Who love their country. George W. Bush loves his country. Barack Obama loves his country. Jimmy Carter loves his country. George H.W. Bush loves his country. Bill Clinton loves his country. These are not people to boo. These are people to raise up and praise. We can disagree with them. But what did you say? The George W. Bush quote? What was the George W. Bush quote? Because this is really so good. This is really so good for all of us in this business and in the business of politics to remember, because we've got to keep this country together. Whether you like Trump, don't like Trump, support Trump, don't support Trump, we've got to bind this country together and keep it together as one.
He said we judge others by their worst actions and we judge ourselves by our best intentions, that we should figure out how we merge the two, because then we're going to get better.
Yeah, and Mark Halperin, what does it mean when you have a California Republican convention and people are shouting out for the hanging of an American hero
who definitely loves this country,
who was a prisoner of war, who was given the opportunity to come home because his father was a powerful admiral, and said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not coming home till my band of brothers come home with me. And that cost him, for the rest of his life, the ability to lift his arms above his shoulders. That meant every day of his life He experienced excruciating pain that you all in that crowd booing him and calling for his hanging will never, ever understand. And yet you treat this like it's a football game. You treat this as sport. It's not a game. It's not a sport. These are not teams that we have chosen. This is a republic that our founders created and decided that our motto would actually talk about how out of many come one. That's what we've got to get back to. But we can't do that if you're actually calling for the hanging of people in your own party. It's just, the Republican Party has moved to a new position, even since I left it, recently.
Yeah, football game may be the right metaphor, or something more gruesome, rollerball or something. There's a principled critique from the conservative populist right about trade and immigration, but that's not what a lot of this is. A lot of this is simply trying to whip people up to play to their anger and their personal animus towards some personalities in the establishment. But I got to say, to me, the biggest story in this front over the weekend after Bannon spoke was Mitch McConnell yesterday. The symbol of the establishment for a lot of these people, fighting back hard and going hard back at Bannon. And the president,
facts.
Yeah, and the president's going to have to, I think, choose sides pretty soon, because privately he's now supporting some of these incumbent Republicans who Bannon's vowed to defeat.
All right, that war hero who suffered and would have died for this country, that they were disparaging and saying hang, he's still working in Washington despite a terminal illness, working for the American people. We'll be right back with Jeremy Peters.
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.